Hello, everyone. Fulgence here with ATS. And as always, I'm joined by Jen. And welcome to our next episode of Built for This, live right here on
This.
LinkedIn. Jen, how are you doing?
Doing great. I'm so excited about this. We have one of my favorite speakers.
Yes. And you know what, Jen? I feel like we should just jump right into it because
Let's do
this
it.
is going to be great. Before we do that, welcome everyone joining us live. Please use the chat if you have anything, any questions, you want to say hello, drop us a comment. We are monitoring that. So welcome and we're ready for a good time. So with that, let's just jump right in because Jen and I are very, very excited to introduce our guest for today. Today, we are joined by Lisa Ayala, founder of
Woo!
ACI Sales Group, with more than a decade of experience in sustainable building products. Lisa has become a trusted voice in bringing biophilic and performance driven materials into the spotlight. She's worked hands on with every type of modified wood, acetylation, resin impregnation, furfurylation, not to be confused with Jennifer, furfurylation, and thermal modification. And her passion for educating and inspiring audiences is as strong as ever, known throughout the industry as the queen of modified wood. Here's Lisa.
Woo!
Hey!
Queen!
The
Queen!
queen has arrived.
Hey,
Welcome, Your Majesty.
yes, yes, subjects, I am here now. No, that's so fun. What a great
Yeah.
introduction, and thank you so much. Listen, I have been waiting for this for, I don't know, for a long time to just sit down with you guys and talk all things modified wood. So, that introduction it humbled me. So thank you.
Awesome.
Well, we love that you're one of our first guests, and you and I have been working together for years, and you have represented so many different modified wood products and educated our architects and specifiers and designers all about what modified wood is and the appropriate product to choose. So, one thing I don't know about you is how you began this career and knowing so much about modified wood and uh, and educating everyone about modified wood. How did you get started in that?
Jen, it just dates back to many, many years ago that I'd prefer not to mention how many. My dad was a weekend woodworker warrior, if you will. So my love of wood goes way, way back. And same with my mom. She just loved working on furniture pieces and doing those kind of things. I wound up getting into the wood business first couple of career out of school, and just fell in love with it. In fact, we have a saying in the wood industry. I think you guys know, I've got sawdust running through my veins. I
Is that
tried to leave.
comfortable?
It's comfortable. I try, it's all natural. You see, I tried leaving the industry, and it pulled me back in. About 17 years ago, I got a call from someone who said, "Hey, have you heard of this thing called modified wood?" And I said, "Well, I've heard of wood. I've heard of treated wood. I've heard of finished wood. Yeah, but modified? No, what's that?" And that's how the journey began. 17 years ago, I helped introduce a modified wood product into North America, and just have not stopped since. So I'm drawn to wood, and now I'm really drawn to modified wood. And as we go through our chat today, I'll expound on that and hopefully get more and more interest into this space. So
That's great.
That
Thank
is
you.
that is
yeah.
awesome. Thank you, Lisa. And that's a great segue because I am here representing all of the newbies who are new to like all this type of content.
Yep.
So with that said, for the newbies, what does modified wood mean exactly?
Okay, it's a great question. And it's funny. I gotta say, I did a couple of architect courses this week, by the way, on modified wood. And one thing I always do, and Fulgens, you know this, and Jen also on the webinars, I have a poll question, and I ask how many people in the room have heard of, specifically to this. Sometimes I'll say thermally modified, but mostly I can say modified wood. And I will tell you, 17 years ago, it was 0 hands would be raised. Yesterday and Tuesday, I had 80% of the room raise their hands that they had heard
Wow.
of modified wood. So we're getting somewhere. So for the newbies out there, when we talk modified wood, we talk something that is enhancing wood to make it last longer. So wood inevitably, natural wood throughout its course in product life for things like siding or decking, will start to degrade over time. And pressure treated lumber has been used in the industry for forever. I think everybody knows what that is. Even it, with its enhanced chemicals that have been added to it, will degrade, and sometimes very quickly. So modified wood is taking wood, and I'm just going to try and do this in the camera, and it is actually treating it all the way to the surface. So it's going all the way in, whereas treated wood will just surface treat around the wood. What happens when you treat versus modify? Treat means that there is going to be some of that wood in the center that is left unaffected. Well, water will find its way into that wood and then begin to start to degrade from the inside out. Modified wood, however, from the piece I just showed you guys, is treated all the way to the core. So you can cut it, you can rip it, you can do anything, and you won't degrade the wood. So we're basically, as you mentioned earlier, fulgens, there are a few different types of modification. There are the heat treated, there are the acetylation, and the furfurilation. And I was going to challenge you to say furfurilation 3 times fast, but I thought I won't play that game today. But that the heat treated is simply using just what it says. It's using heat and steam to change the wood at the cellular level. Acetylation and furfurilation are actually using very, we'll call it soft chemistry to change the wood at the cellular level. So when you have modified wood, you have wood that lasts longer than other woods out in the market. It's more durable. It doesn't move as much. So it's just a better process and a better way of doing things all the way around.
Okay, so you clarified something that I was wondering, is pressure treated wood a modified wood? And you mentioned that it is not. So let's talk about a little bit more on those different types of modification and get into the nitty gritty of how does that work? Like, how would you modify the wood, thermally modified wood,
Okay.
acetylation for, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thermally modified wood, as I mentioned, is really using heat and steam only, and it's using kilns for the most part. Without getting, I don't want to get too, I guess, technical in this, but some producers will use what they call an autoclave system. But what I'm most familiar with are those producers that are using a kiln, and they are basically removing the oxygen from the kiln. They're heating the kiln up. All these species, or all these processes rather, will require the wood to be stacked and then have these stickers in between the wood so that the flow of whatever the process is going to be treating the wood all the way through. So with the thermally modified, you're using, again, heat and steam. You're raising the temperature in the kiln. You're bringing the wood down to a 0% moisture content. I know, sounds scary because you're literally moving all the water out of it. And therefore, you're thinking, wow, this wood is going to crack and break. But again, it is a very controlled process where they're changing at the cellular level some component parts that are inside the cell to either evaporate out or break down and restructure the cell walls. Once that happens, they start reintroducing moisture into the wood, lowering the temperature, and voila, after it's about a 40-hour process, the thermally modified wood comes out and it's forever changed. So the source wood that goes in, whatever its strength properties or durability properties or density properties have been changed and forever. With the acetylation, Acetylation is using a non-toxic chemical, basically, that is low VOC. It is going into the wood and again reacting, converting the molecular structure of the wood, if you will, to same process, is creating wood that is very durable and lasts long. For ferrylation, same, is taking a bio-based material and going into the wood and also reacting all the way to the core. All of these processes are very safe processes. They don't emit VOCs. They don't have harmful chemicals leaching out like some of the other things that we're used to from years gone by. So you've got three processes creating the same end result, a wood that will last a lot longer. It's sequestering carbon for a lot longer. And we talked, just about, all the benefits basically, and we'll go through those. But that's kind of those three in a nutshell. Does
Yeah.
that sort of answer?
Absolutely. So if they all are modified in the end, but do they have the same benefits? I mean, equally? And then, or how are they different?
Okay, perfect question. So some species or some processes can actually treat more species, whereas thermally modified wood, there are three, four, five species that can be treated. Typically, what you'll see with the acetylation process is there's one species that's particularly very well adapted to this process, and that happens to be softwoods. Do fare better because they have an open cell structure, we call it, so that they accept this, what the chemistry that's going on. And then the ferrylation process, actually same, one or two species that it treats. With that, I would say that you're getting all these woods are really good for exterior applications. So
Okay.
that's the benefit for all these processes, Jen. I mean, what happens with regular wood, I'll call it, let's say, just pine, which we in Texas, the builders love to use pressure treated pine on door jambs and garage door jambs. And I'm just thinking, with modified wood, you have a longer lasting opportunity for those door jambs to not rot when weather starts degrading them.
Okay.
Hmm. And also the modification process, does it affect the outside of the wood only, or is it throughout the entire body?
That's a great question, Fulgence. It is all throughout the body. So that is the biggest difference that I always try and convey to those that I'm teaching. Treated wood is that surface treatment, and it leaves that core unprotected. Modified wood will react all the way to the core, so no matter where you cut into that wood, it's been modified permanently. So that helps with that what I was talking about, rot and decay. And I'm sorry, the reason I brought up the garage door jams is in Texas, I have a home that I love very much, but it was built, oh gosh, 20 years ago. And, it probably was in 5 years ago, so 15 years in, I started noticing that the bottom of my door jamb was kind of, sort of decaying away. And sure enough, it's because it's pressure treated, and that only withstands so long in harsh Texas weather with the sun that we get, the rain and moisture. And so I'm thinking, and we'll talk about this later on down the chat, but there's a lot of manufacturers out there that can take this modified wood and use it for those sort of applications where weather can really degrade wood. And now you've got a product that is not decaying or rotting. A lot of these products offer 25, 35, 50-year warranties against rot
Wow.
and decay.
Yeah.
Yes. I challenge you to get that with a piece of some other wood. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
So, outdoors, indoors, underground level, are there particular modification processes that are better for different applications?
Yes, and that's a good, so one of the things that modified wood really does and the real big benefit to it is exterior use, above ground use.
Okay.
There are, the acetylation process actually offers an opportunity where it can be placed at ground or even in fresh water. So the furfurilation, the thermally modified processes are similar to acetylation in that they all will work above ground very well, and they have the long-lasting warranty to prove that. But acetylation does offer the benefit where it can be used toward ground. So that's another great question. You guys are, hey, somebody knows there are furfurilation and acetylation and thermally modified wood.
Well, all right. So, and I have listened to your presentations for years. So, and I'm still learning some things today. So I love that. Um, I know some of the questions that we receive when you're speaking are there harmful chemicals? Are there any VOCs? Can all of these be used indoors?
So what I say about that is and just going back to the pressure treated world, the pressure treated world, and in the time, it was what was working best to preserve wood. There were preservatives out there that were allowing wood to last longer, but they were heavy metals and some things like copper and chromium
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of thing. And those things leach out, and
yeah.
they do create VOCs. With the modified woods, you're getting low or no VOCs in all of them. Acetylation, furfurilation, they are using what we call soft chemistry really to produce their products. All of these woods have gone to the level of proving this out with third-party validation, if you will, to show that their woods aren't causing any harmful, air quality issues or that sort of thing. I find personally that thermally modified wood, if I can speak correctly today, thermally modified wood, I feel like works really well interior as well as exterior because it's using heat and steam only. With the acetylation and the furfurilation, I know, there you go. See, Fulgen, you sounded out better than I do. Those two, those two, because they emit very low VOC, those two can be used indoor, but their real effect and their real benefit is the exterior opportunities that you have. And I just was talking to an architect yesterday, and his whole premise is that he wants to be able to carry looks from interior to exterior. And he said, it sounds like with these modified woods, I can achieve that and use the same product and not have to change to something that is good for exterior use, but then use something different for interior. And I said, absolutely true. So we're giving architects more opportunity, more design choices today.
Hmm. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. So when we think of wood, we think of a lumber mill, and that's where orders are placed and delivered to the job site. So are these products used for framing, structural purposes, or outdoor use, decking, railing, fencing, versus those products and this was sort of is a backup question to what you just answered, for the applications indoors like trim and wood floors and that sort of thing?
Again, wow, these are such great questions. And I have to say that with the modified wood, you don't want to use it for framing. It is the
Okay.
enhancement process that's being done to each of these types of process. I'll just call it the A, the F, and the thermally. Acetylation, furfurilation, and the thermally modified. They're being enhanced really for more proper applications of exactly what you just said, Jen, like trim, outdoor trim,
Okay.
decking, railing, soffit. It's just not a good framing material, but same, great for interior. We had a very nice dealer in Northern California a while back that fitted his entire home, where he was doing wainscoting, he was doing interior trim, chair rail, and he did the whole interior of his home with modified wood. And he said he just didn't even want the movement, and his kind of climate there, he wanted the movement within his home to remain stable. So he used modified wood for all of his inside and built a beautiful porch on the outside. So
Awesome.
That is that is awesome. And I'm sure, like with every other product, there's several modified wood products on the market. So where would a specifier begin in selecting the best option for the application?
I would say I would first look to what is the application. So if it's the, the good thing is there are so many dealers out in the market today that carry these modified woods. They've been educated. Most of the modified wood manufacturers, we've all gone to sort of having the dealers take classes to understand this and understand what to suggest to clients. So for instance, I might suggest a soffit out of thermally modified wood out of a certain species that is very soft, because it may not work for decking. But that same dealer could have another option for this client for something horizontal. Maybe they even want to make some benches or furniture pieces. Well, this soft wood that I was referring to that would go in soffits wouldn't necessarily fit for a horizontal piece or decking. So they have options, and that's the beauty of where we're at today, guys. And I think I mentioned this to you earlier, that and everybody out there, that 17 years ago, 0% would raise their hands that they have heard of this modified wood. This week, I was pleasantly surprised to see the increase. So I think with all the education that's been done, with all the blood, sweat, and tears from all of us in this industry, and you two notwithstanding, because I know you've been promoting it so much, the market is ready for this. Dealers are ready for those questions, and they can help clients, architects, builders out there to decide which product fits what application they would like best. Yep.
All right. So you mentioned dealers. How would someone specify the product? How would they, is it a distributor? Is it stocked in lumber yards? How do they go about specifying it?
So all these modified woods are sold through distribution and dealer networks.
Okay.
Some are stocked, which you can go to any one of the manufacturers' websites and they have the where to buy. And so that's the beauty of technology today, is that we have this ability. It feels like, I don't want to date myself, but I think I used to have to go in the phone book. I had to find dealers that way. I feel like we've made it so easy in this industry, in the building products industry, to just go to the where to buy tab on any manufacturer's site, and you can find a list of dealers in your area. So yeah.
Was that the white pages?
The yellow pages.
The yellow pages. Oh, yeah, we're all dating ourselves here.
I know. I'm sorry, I had to throw it out there, but I just want everybody to know how easy it is to find modified wood today.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, as a ATS moderator, I've been learning a few things here and there, right? So I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
the most
You're
requested.
getting there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know the most requested benefit in building products is durability. So, would you say that modification makes this beautiful natural resource even more durable? In other words, modified wood products that are built for durability. See what I did there? Built for
Yeah. See
durability.
what you did. I see what you did.
I love it. I love it. I feel like we need the applause button right now.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, he can make that work.
You go.
He's got skills. Yep.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Fulgence.
thank you. I try.
So, I, you know, again, so when I go, I hope I hope I don't jump ahead of anything you guys are asking, but when I do these classes, I have a slide, and I talk to the audience and say, you know, now you've listened to the science and you've understood it, and you know, of course, there's going to be a test, a chemistry test at the end. Ha ha, that's my joke. Okay, so then their eyes get really big, and they're like, "Well, I wasn't really paying attention." What? So, so I have a slide, and I have about 5 or 6 benefits listed for modified wood, and I say I feel like this is where the rubber meets the road. You guys are here. You're kind enough to listen to me, and hopefully educating you on this. But with these benefits, these are the really top benefits of modified wood. Guess what the first two are? What you just said, Fulgence: durability, and I'm pretending I've got my fake screen up here, by the way. Um, I talk with my hands, sorry. And so the first one is durability. The second one is dimensional stability. And then it's sort of 3, 4, 5, 6 can go interchangeably. But when I do this poll and I say, what is the most important, I guess, aspect of modified wood that you've learned today, or conversely, what is a reason why you don't specify wood today? Inevitably, either number one is durability, their
Yep.
answer, number two is dimensional stability, or just depending on the area of the country, sometimes it's number one is dimensional stability and number two is durability. So when I say to them, okay, yesterday, for instance, durability was the number one reason. They said,
Mhm.
you know, we're in Houston, you just don't understand our weather. And I said, yeah, pretty sure I do. I'm here in Texas as well. So they said, you know, we just can't chance specifying a wood and having the callbacks and the replacement calls. And I said, what if I told you that I'm presenting a wood to you today that has the durability to last 20 plus years, 20-year
Mhm.
warranty on it, let's say, but it's going to last beyond that? And then their eyes, they sort of light up. Okay, so I want to hear more about this. So to your question, Fulgens, durability happens to be really the number one
Mhm.
reason why we do what we do in this modified wood space. This science has been around for a long time. We have found papers dating back to the 1911 on thermally modified wood. There's some that are dated back to the 1920s and 30s on the other types of processes. So they've been studying this a long time. They knew that wood is good, and there's so much that can be done with it that won't hurt it. It's just all we're doing is enhancing it,
Okay.
and that's the message we try to get you know, to everyone.
So that makes sense. We at ATS, we changed our programs to address those complications and challenges that are, you know, that specifiers have. And the number one topic that we decided on was durability, things that are built to last. So are there any third-party testing, what, like weather resistance or any of those ASTM testings that uh, confirm that durability and show that you can have that warranty for more than 25 years?
That's a great point. There are third party tests, and in fact, as I've worked for, so I think commercially, I can say I'm the only person globally who has worked with every type of wood modification out there,
That's
from the
because you're the
furfural.
queen. You're the queen of modified
I'm the
wood. I mean,
queen of modified. Hold on, do I have a crown? No, no, no. But I think, Jen, that you know what we found with you know, all these woods is that we had to come into the market and prove ourselves out.
Mhm.
So the testing has been huge. It's been important. And whether it's something that's being sold here in North America, we're looking at ASTM standards, we're looking at AWPA standards. Europe, same. They have their test standards. They have something there. They will look at the durability of wood, and they have classification where it's class one, lasting 35 years plus. Class two is 10 to 25 years or something, or 35 years. And then class three is not very durable at all. And you'll find most woods that have not been enhanced fall into this class three. Most of your modified woods fall into class one.
Okay.
There may be a couple species that fall into class two, but real quickly, in the US, we have something called the AWPA. There's an E10 and an E7. These are durability tests. And yes, we do prove those out so that when we go into the marketplace, we can say with confidence, we know our wood's going to last.
Okay, and I know that we haven't discussed this recently, but class, what is it? ASTM 84 fire resistance, the tunnel testing. Where do these modified woods fall in with those fire testing rating? I guess class A rating.
That's great. They're all different, Jen, to be honest.
Okay.
Some cases in the thermally modified space, it depends on the species.
Okay.
We know that thermally modified ash is a class B naturally. We know that the Scandinavian, or the rustic look, the Scots pine, if you will, is a class C, and the ASTM flame spread test. We know in acetylation, they have where they're working on to bring it to class B, and then the phosphorylation, they also have a class B.
Okay.
There are some products that can have aftermarket treatments and meet even further classification to meet that flame spread rating.
Okay.
Awesome. And aside from durability, we can all agree that wood is beautiful and it supports biophilic design. And modified wood is built for biolithic design, biophilic design. Look, there I go. Say that a few times, right? And
Yeah.
but for those in the audience who are new to biophilic design, would you provide an explanation on that and your background on the subject?
Thank you for asking that. And I will say that this is my favorite topic. So, as I said before, just cut me off, cut the mic, cut the camera if I keep going on and on about it, because Jen, you know, and I know we love this topic. And Fulgens,
Yes.
you are going to love it as well,
Yeah.
because it's all about our affinity for nature and loving all things natural. Biophilia is a term that was coined by a biologist, Ed, Edward O. Wilson, and he was studying this in the 70s and 80s, and then beyond that, what my research when I was learning all about this was a professor named Stephen Kellert out of Yale University, sort of took Edward Wilson's proposal of biophilia and I think his actual definition is our innate affinity for nature. That's Wilson's. Keller came in and said, well, you know, I really want to apply this to this biophilia to design and design principles, and making the world around us, our buildings, our surroundings, a better and more natural place in which we live and breathe. So he wrote a book, Nature by Design, and I think I told you guys I have it on my coffee table. So when people come over, you know, they ask about it. Well, guess what? I get to talk about it. So I know that architect schools have taught about this for years, and I even told the architects yesterday, what's old is new again. We're really bringing this about because it is important for us to really start thinking about how we're designing and what we're designing with and materials. I got really involved in this because of my friends, Danny, Stefan, and Jen at ATS introduced me to someone who he just became a fast friend. And I don't think that saying, what is it, that I never met an enemy? I believe that is Criswell's moniker. I mean, he was that person. He just exuded just knowledge, grace, friendship, and Criswell was on a mission to start really getting the world thinking about biophilia and biophilic design, and partly because personally Criswell had developed cancer and had gone into a hospital, and as he told the story, he said, the hospital was very sterile, as hospitals are. It's the white
Mhm.
walls, the fluorescent lights. What do you say, Jen? Like just stainless steel surrounding him
Yeah,
everywhere,
hard surfaces. Yeah, yeah.
hard surfaces,
Harsh. Yeah.
harsh surfaces.
Yeah.
And he said, chemotherapy is not fun for anyone. It really isn't. He said, but I'd go in there and I almost came out feeling worse. I felt worse, not because of the chemo, but my autonomic nervous system. I just didn't feel good.
Yep.
Through whatever course happened, he had to change hospitals. He wound up in a hospital that embraced biophilic design. So he was now surrounded by wood, natural light, plants. And Jen, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said they even had sort of a running water feature, like the sound of a brook or something running. And he said, he came out of that and just the opposite. My autonomic nervous system just feels better. And so he said, there's really something about this. We laugh and joke about, back in the 70s, dating myself again, but my mom was this person, tree huggers. But there is really something to going out and touching blades of grass, walking
Yep.
barefoot in the grass. And
Yep.
and Criswell, he just spoke of that.
Mhm.
Um,
He would
he
he would use
unfortunately
the description forest bathing.
forest bathing. Yes,
Because in
that's
J-
right.
in Japan, the doctors would actually prescribe an hour of forest bathing 3 times a week for stress reduction and wellness.
Productivity,
Yeah,
wellness,
yeah.
productivity, and creativity, and that's so true. He talked so much about that, and um, he actually did a TEDx talk. I guess we can talk about that, but it was such a great message that he was getting out. And
Mhm.
we talked about this the other day, unfortunately, and not he was in remission. He went into remission, and not anything to do with the cancer, but unfortunately he lost his life in 2022. And the world really lost a great proponent of biophilic design and biophilia.
And
Um,
a wood expert. I mean,
and
he
a
knew
wood expert.
every.
He
Yeah,
knew wood. Yes, he did. He knew
yeah,
wood, and he knew how important it was for us to use wood in our everyday life, as far as design for interior, exterior, heck, even cutting boards. I'm reading now that throw away your plastic cutting boards. Do not use them, because wood cutting boards actually will remove bacteria a lot faster, at a faster rate, than plastic
wow,
cutting
I didn't
boards.
know that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yes, so like I said, guys, you better stop me, because I will go down and tell you so much research I have gone into. But my point of bringing up the story of Criswell is not only was he introduced to me by my fine friends here at ATS, but he's created something in me and Jen. I think we talked about this. We just want to push this biophilic design concept
Mhm.
further. We want to bring
Yeah,
it back. We don't want architects who have left school and learned about it to say, well, I learned about it, but I'm out in the real world now. I'm going to design to aesthetics only and cost only. And
right.
I speak highly to these architects, and I say, I know a lot of times there are budget constraints, and I know, but we can make this work together to build with these natural products.
There is no better product for biophilic design than wood, and to me, wood is built for biophilic design, bringing the outdoors in. It-
100%.
you know,
I will tell you, Jen, that one thing I say in all my classes, and I joke with them, and I said, I'll give you, little things, little paper clips or whatever. You could just toss them at me if I say it too many times, but I don't think I can say it enough. Wood is the world's most natural, renewable resource.
Yes.
Its purpose is to breathe in oxygen, or to breathe in CO2, sorry, breathe in CO2 and blow out oxygen. And so trees are the best product on the earth, in my opinion.
The lungs of the earth.
The lungs, I love that.
Nice.
I'm going to steal that. Can I steal that for my next class?
I stole it from Criswell, so
Oh,
yeah,
well, see, he lives on.
he lives on.
He
Yeah.
lives
Yeah.
on. But so Fulgens and Jen, thanks for asking that. I just think it's so important to tie in biophilic design and wood, and especially modified wood, because when we're talking modified wood, it's embodied carbon, much more than a lot of your aluminum and PVC products, because it doesn't have, the cost to manufacture, or the manufacturing isn't as intense with modified woods. So when we talk about embodied carbon, it's basically from the harvesting up until it goes into a product. And with all the processes, furfuration, acetylation, thermally modified wood, they all do a great job of this, and they create a wood that, or a product that is longer lasting in most cases than aluminum and PVC. When we talk about sequestering carbon, Criswell used to hold a board up in his classes, and he said, you see this board right here that's been produced through modification? It is now harboring 50% carbon in this board. So if we think about what wood really can do as far as creating cleaner airspace for us, I always think back to it really storing carbon in the different modified wood products that are out there.
Yeah. So let's talk about the wood species, and what is the best species to use for modified wood, or is that progressing? Is that changing?
It's so funny you mentioned that, because it is progressing. You find that these producers of modified wood, they're pushing the envelope every day. So the R&D is not done. I mean, we're talking again about abstracts that were written in the early 1900s to today, continuing on with constant research and development. With most modified woods, softwoods tend to be, or coniferous, now I can't speak, pine type trees, because they tend to have open cell structures. I'll show this piece of wood again up close to the camera. You can see the grain on this is very wide. That means it's a very fast growing tree, and therefore it will take the process a lot easier. That said, there are some hardwoods, more likely softer hardwoods, if you will, that will take the process as well.
Okay.
So it just depends on the manufacturer and the process. And stay tuned, guys. So part of my presentation, I talk about the past, the present, and the future of modified wood. Modified wood isn't going anywhere. It's here to stay. And there are even newer technologies on the market that I have seen that are just they're just kind of mind-blowing. So stay tuned for those. But we're just finding newer and better ways to make wood last longer. And again, because it's that natural renewable resource, it makes for a great product for our building applications. And the other thing I would say, and then I'll stop, mass timber, CLT, all these things, you can glue up these products and create some of these beautiful projects that you're seeing now out in the industry. So
Excellent.
That is awesome. Before I get into the next question, I just wanted to say hello to a few people. Ronell is in the chat saying happy Friday. And we have Cassandra House with Penetron saying happy Friday. Hi, Cassandra. Glad that you're joining us here today. And if anyone else is joining, please feel free, stop by, say hello, leave us a message, comment, like, whatever your heart's content. So, Lisa, where
exciting.
is
That's
that
great.
wood sourced?
Oh, it froze.
Or what you for to come back? I think it's coming back now.
Yep, it froze on my end.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you hear the question? Before it froze?
No.
I was asking you, where is the wood sourced?
Oh, another good question. So the wood is sourced really wherever there's wood, and whatever species will take this process. So we've got every company that I have either consulted with or worked with is sourcing what we call FSC. So it's the Forest Stewardship Council mark that ensures that the wood is coming from very safe practices, very well managed forest practices, and each of these producers, they all source it from that. We have got very fast growing wood from areas of New Zealand, South America. We've got right here in the US, we've got a lot of species, hemlock, ash, that work really well. And then, some other species around the globe. So the idea eventually, I think, is hopefully what we do is we're able to produce these facilities in areas that are indigenous to the species that work. But sometimes, yes, there might be a slow boat trip, but we have proven out that even the carbon used to get the wood from one location to another is minimal compared to what the carbon that's being stored in the wood in the life of the product. So.
Okay, you just answered my next question.
Oh.
But I do think we have a question from the audience. How does the modified wood come? Is it rough sawn wood, or how do they? Yeah, how is it measured? How is it received?
Gosh, somebody is really on their toes. What a
Yeah.
great question. That's means basically that the wood has not been what we call surfaced or planed. It's not smoothed
Okay.
out. Some comes actually in finished product. So you will get it in a 1x6 deck board or a 1x6 siding board. So it just depends on what you, the client, or the builder is looking for. Because if they want to bring it in the rough sawn, a lot of times if they have their own machining capabilities, they bring it in and then they're able to just machine it into whatever shape they want it to be. But if you're
Okay.
looking for something decking siding, you got that too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And if modified wood has greater durability, is that easier to work with in terms of like cutting and fasteners and things like that?
I think the durability is just one of the enhancements that creates it longer lasting and enhancing it where it's not going to experience the rot and decay that normal wood. It is Friday, okay?
Yes.
But I think the durability doesn't really affect how it's machined. What I have found with all these modified woods, they machine really well. They cut. You don't really need special tools like you need with some of the tropical hardwoods out there. You're having
Yeah.
to buy special carbide tips and blades, and with the thermally modified, the acetylated and the furfuralated, you really don't need special tools. They machine pretty well. The one thing I have noticed is and this probably just getting too far down the line, but sometimes you have to slow your speed rate when you're running it through a molder or something. But I can talk this to any contractors out there that would like to know more. Happy to discuss that.
And also, what about coatings?
All the modified woods coatings work really well with them, whether they're water based, whether they're oil based. They work really well. Paint, stains, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So it's just your preference, and we can always all of us can in this industry can help direct toward that sort of coating answer as well whenever they're
Okay.
ready to specify.
All right. One more question on that topic. I think you never know what you're going to get. Like if you stain a pine or you stain oak, you're going to get two different looks of that same stain, right?
That's
Does
very
the
true. Yes,
does the
that's a great.
modification process change that also, aside from species?
No, not really. So if you have a pine versus an oak, they will still sort of absorb the stain
Okay.
or paint to what species they are. So it all depends on the look you're looking for. And I always recommend just all manufacturers are willing to give small sample pieces out of the species. Test a small swatch and see, what color looks good and what you're looking for. One thing I will say, and I don't think I mentioned this, is all wood will gray out over time. We like to say silver patina, and it
Mhm.
really does. Some of these thermally modified, acetylated, and perforated will gray out to this beautiful silver patina look. If that is not the look you want, you must coat your wood and you must coat it with a pigment. So just putting a clear coat will help slow that aging process down. But because there's no pigment for the UV rays to react off of,
Mhm.
it will likewise turn that gray. So really important, make sure you put a color pigment in your stain if you want your wood to not turn gray.
Okay.
Then you begin a maintenance cycle. And it's again, Jen, it is all dependent on are the client's wishes. If they don't want to maintain the wood, they don't have to. It can gray out and be this beautiful, beautiful silver patina, and there is still the warranty. It will not affect the warranty if you don't coat it or finish it.
Okay. Wow, that's great. That's
Yep.
good to know.
Yep.
All right, before we let you go, can you give us a couple of your favorite projects that feature modified wood?
Oh gosh.
I
I
bet one of
just
them is biophilic indoors, maybe.
all of them. It's all of them. I will say I have had the distinct pleasure and honor of working globally with projects. And so some of these, one of them may be mine that I helped push through. But I would say on a commercial level, we have done, all of us, all the different manufacturers have done work with the largest theme park in the world with the mouse as its mascot.
Hmm.
Um,
Wonder who that
it
is.
I don't know if you can figure that one, but it's especially good for options like that. This is a commercial venue, obviously, that is open 7 days a week, 24 hour, or not 24, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and gets a lot of abuse depending on which area of the world it's at. And so they particularly love modified woods because they know they're getting a long lasting look to it. Commercially, also interior, there are a chain of restaurants here in Texas that are using the character or the Scandinavian look with the butterfly knots interior. So you walk in their building and they've got it kind of industrial looking, so it's kind of cool when you walk in, and it's all sort of dark, painted black, but then they've got this wall of this Scandinavian pine with their menu items on it. And you just feel better walking in there and just seeing the wood and being kind of surrounded by that wood. So those are a couple of my really favorite projects, but too many to list, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Anything else, Fulgens, you'd like to ask or cover?
Yeah, I just wanted to have Lisa have a chance to do a quick plug because Lisa, we hear that you're going to be a judge at the upcoming Pinnacle Awards at the International Society of Furniture Designers in October. Congratulations,
Yes.
first of all. So, if you want
Yeah.
to talk a little bit about
Thank,
that, well,
thank you.
how about this?
Thank you. Well, guys, again, I know.
Well, the
Again,
queen, you have to have the queen judging, right?
You
you
have
gotta
to.
have the queen. You gotta have again, I don't know if this is somehow, Criswell working through me with his Criswellness. I'm going to call that a new adjective, the Criswellness.
Yeah.
But I was humbled to be asked to judge in this particular award for the furniture industry, and specifically with regard to biophilic design. So it is a fairly new category for them. There are two of us that are judging on this particular area, and I can tell you some really beautiful projects using wood. And what I hope to see more of in the future is actually using more modified wood in those species that are able to do so in furniture, outdoor furniture, and that sort of thing. But it is the gala is October 26th, and they'll be announcing the award winners then. So again, humbled and honored, and really excited to be a part of this. So
And that's back in North Carolina. That's close to my heart right there. Um,
it's you know where it is, Jen. It's
yes,
the furniture capital of the world, High Point, North Carolina.
High
So
Point, North Carolina. Yep, exactly. Yep, yep. This has been wonderful. I love talking about wood, and I love talking about making wood more durable.
yes.
Um, so just to recap, wood is built for durability. Yep.
Yes.
Wood is, yes, absolutely. And it just, it goes to the whole theme for ATS as far as talking about built for durability. It goes to even the biophilic themes that are being created by ATS. So I am always happy to talk wood. I will join you guys any day of the week and chat.
Love it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa. This has been amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
it's been fun. I really, really enjoyed it. And thank you again. Humbled and honored to be in your presence. So
And Fulgens did put up your contact information, and I know that you love talking about wood. If anybody has any questions, reach out to Lisa, and she'll help you out for sure.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
thank,
Thank you so much,
yes,
Lisa. This was awesome.
th-
And we can't wait
great.
to have you back again because I'm pretty sure we have a lot more content to cover with you in the upcoming podcast.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
will be happy to share beyond what we've talked about today. Absolutely. I just, I feel, and I'll end with this. I just feel like I'm just on a mission to make sure that people understand wood is a product, and modified wood especially is a product that you should be using in your everyday design. It's just that natural product that has the aesthetics, it has the sustainability qualities to it, and I'm just on a mission to get more people designing with wood.
Next Friday, we're going to have our
Yeah.
next guest, and that will be Trisha Brindle with Fire Troll. So next week, it's going to be all about fire rated innovation with Trish Brindle from Fire Troll. Same time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on LinkedIn. And we hope for you to join us then. Jen, this was great.
That was great. Yep. Loved it. Loved having Lisa here.
Yes,
Yes.
and love being here, and I look forward to your next week podcast.
Yes.
Yes. We hope for you to join us there. All right, everyone. So until next time, we will see you next week. We hope you have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you then.